Look, I was going to go easy on you, not to hurt your feelings, but I'm only going to get this one chance.
Something's wrong. I can feel it.
It's just a feeling I've got. Like something's about to happen, but I don't know what. If that means what I think it means, we're in trouble. Big trouble. And if he is bananas, as you say, I'm not taking any chances.
You just want the dark order.
Hello sailors, you're watching The Dodgy Kebab and this video is a review of the World of Warcraft private server Molten, and specifically the Mr. Pandaria realm Hellscream. As some of you might know, my account and IP address is banned from all their services because they threw a hissy fit over my Cataclysm review video, so I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear how great this server really is.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you.
Only joking, this is a total fucking mess. But let's witness this utter car crash from the very beginning. As I said, because some of the staff at Molten would rather spend their time trying to censor people like me than actually fixing their servers. I mean, come on, how many years will it be before the Hitchhiker's hack is sorted out? Anyway, so because my IP is banned, I had to use a VPN to connect to the game with a freshly made account. Also, I thought that it was a bad idea to use one of my normal names for my character, so out went Tyrus Flare and say hello to Clicker Tank. Molten servers are normally pretty busy, and Hellscream is no different. This is what you want from a World of Warcraft private server. You want it to feel busy and alive. Well, I did, until I found out I couldn't actually right click and attack on any of the yellow mobs in the starting area, and every other prick was killing them before I even got a chance. One of the next quests is where you have to help the injured troops, but they were blatantly not injured and just mugging me right off. The point I blew the beginner area off was when I had to fight the fires in the vineyard and I couldn't see any. I sprayed randomly around and actually put some out, but it's not that the fires are not there, it's just that they're invisible. Now remember, Molten have had their MOP server in public test realm status for months. Just what the fucking hell is wrong with them? How has this not been picked up? Pandaria doesn't have the fires in either, but they put in a temporary marker to show where you should be shooting so at least you can do the quest. When you're lagging behind Pandaria, you know you've got big fucking problems. Anyway, I moved on to Stormwind, picked up my professions and thought I'd skill up some fishing. No! Fishing is utterly broken here. When you cast your rod, you have about a 95% chance of being told, fuck you. Just look here. You can see that I couldn't have been in a better spot for fishing and I'm having no luck at all. Someone on Guild Chat was also having problems with their profession, but at least they were getting something. I did manage to cast a few times, but the second you move from the exact spot, you fucked again. Pandaria doesn't have this problem, and we're talking about the server that gave me the Oldham achievement for killing a fucking Murloc in Gold Shield at level 5. Although, one thing they did manage to get right was finally having the NPC recipe lists in order. Now I know what they spent all those months in public test realm status doing. So, I forgot about my professions for a while and decided to do some quests. Now, look at this. It looks like I haven't got any current quests finished, right? Wrong! See, I just handed that one in. Remember everybody, months of public testing went into this. It was after this madness that the true horror of having the combat bug showed up. Now, my Hearthstone was on cooldown and I had the combat bug affect my character. I couldn't log out, so all I could do was reload the game. But if I reload the game, then I'll be greeted by this screen again. So, if you get a combat bug on this server, it's a real bitch. And even if your Hearthstone is not on cooldown, there is every chance you might not want to use it because you're in a dungeon that actually works. But I'll come back to that later in the video. By this point, the quest scripts were not working properly and the bugs were getting on top of me, so I fired up the PvP finder to fuck some Horde scum up. I'll use this opportunity to show that even though I rag on PvP in almost every review, it's not that I'm bad at it, far from it. Here, I've just won the flag and go on to own some rogue prick. Take that, you Horde piece of shit. After totally raping some Horde nabs, I went back to questing, and soon enough I was level 15 and ready to start doing some RDF. But once again, Molten showed how utterly useless it is, and every single dungeon that was at my level was locked out, due to none of them being scripted. What a surprise! So, with RDF off the table, it was back to questing. Lucky for me, Hellscream is a 5-time server, so it meant I could accelerate through the broken content. Items decided that they didn't want to be collected. NPCs had no idea what they were meant to be doing. Scripts were still broken. Some quests didn't even want to start. Believe it or not, things continue to go downhill from here. The guild features are pretty messed up, so it looks like not a single guild member has earned a single guild point, which doesn't seem right to me considering this is a level 3 guild. Also, if you want to earn some guild achievements, you can stick that up your arse. Things like killing critters and gold tallies don't seem to register here. However, I found a bug which actually helped me. The amount of gold earned from completing cooking dailies in Stormwind is well OP. So, as you probably know, the amount of gold you earn is scaled to your level. Well, the Molten scaled is broken even more than the pathetic anti-cheat coding. Doing a daily at any level will earn you the same amount as you'd expect a max level player to earn. Thanks, Molten! I know things were getting bad when I actually thought I'd get back to some more PvP, and I took out my frustrations of the server out on every wanker that came up to me. So much so that I was the highest scoring Alliance player in the game. After the PvP, I still couldn't fish. Mobs started walking through solid objects, and so-called rare mobs started popping up multiple times at once. Finally, I got to level 20 and a dungeon pops up in the RDF menu that I can actually do. Here we go! Any minute now. I can still hear it going. What's going on? Did this just crash? Yes! Using the RDF tool is highly likely to freeze the game. Honestly, you couldn't make this up. I found this just so unbelievable that I filmed this on my phone so people can see that I haven't faked this in any way just to make a joke. Now remember, Molten has had months and months of open and closed beta testing, and the released product fucking crashes if you open the RDF tool. I actually found a workaround for this. You just have to force shut the game by alt-tabbing out, and then when you reload the game, you'll be in the dungeon with the group so long as they haven't quit. But the problem with this workaround is, guess what happens when you exit the game? You go back to the queue screen again! I only found out this workaround because I was playing at some stupid time in the morning, and there was not that many people online, so there was no queue. What is wrong with fucking Molten? How are bugs like this not picked up during the testing stage? I asked in guild chat and I was told that many people were getting this bug. It's a mess. But you know what's a bigger mess? The fucking dungeon itself. Once I actually got inside the only dungeon that Molten had marked as working, it was dreadful. Mobs were running through walls because the line of sight programming just doesn't work at all. From the moment you start, you have a shitload of mobs just pelting at you from every angle. Luckily, this is Mr. Pandaria, and the game has been so dumbed down at this point, a dribbling retard can just bash his head on the keyboard and beat an heroic in the game. I beat the dungeon and swore never to go back again. As all the other dungeons were locked, it was back to doing quests. So I travelled to Stranglethorn Vale to slay some trolls and ogres. Before climbing some more levels, the game decided that I'd been good enough to deserve another RDF dungeon. Razorfen Crawl was the next dungeon I tried to do, and guess what? Of course, I'd forgotten that having the gall to select the RDF option would give the game no choice but to shit its pants and to lock up. Fuck you, Molten. Was it any better once I got inside? Of course not. Mobs were still passing through walls like it was fucking Alien, and I still ended up fighting huge groups because it was so bugged. The theme for this server was for every one thing that goes well, 3 things crop up that totally screw up the game. For example, the auction house is very well stocked and the prices are about right for this level. This is offset by archaeology not working, not being able to use potions, and this is the first server I've ever played which doesn't have the deep run tram working. So, to summarise what I've covered so far, the server with the largest income, most resources, and has the benefit of many Pandaria open source scripts being freely available, has released a buggy mess that freezes if you try to do RDF, and contains so many bugs you'd think it's a Steam early access game. And remember, they went through months and months of testing to get to this state. Now, this is the point of the video where I'd say I spoke to the server staff and was granted a temporary test account to see the end game stuff. Well, I always knew that this was going to be a rocky subject, but I thought if I was polite and asked nicely that maybe it would be okay. Remember, this is how I normally do business with servers. It's not like I'm asking for GM privileges or anything. I put a very polite message on the server forum, and within 7 minutes my message was deleted by Sapphire, and 5 minutes after that my account was banned with a message that said we are not interested. I like the way Sapphire managed to speak to all the Molten staff in only 13 minutes, and in that short time they made a decision to ban me. Why do I get the feeling that this is the work of ban heavy Sapphire speaking on behalf of the whole team once again? You may be wondering who Sapphire is. Well, instead of showing you endgame content, because clearly that's not going to happen, I'll give you an insight into how the staff operate and their view of the community. Here, you can see a well-written concern that a user has put on their forum. In no way does this post get personal with any of the community or staff member, and is just highlighting issues and concerns that the user has. And here is the next bit of the post, and you can pause the video if you like, have a read on what it says. I think the person is being very fair, and in no way do I see this as any sort of attack. You read that? Good. Right, let's move on to what fellow Molten community members think. Oh, it looks like these 3 people agree with it right away. And the next 3 people also support that post 100%, as do the next 3 people. So, after a post like this, and with every community member who actually posted agreeing, you'd think that the Molten staff would be quite sympathetic and take the views on board, right? Let's see what staff member Sapphire had to say about this. First of all, let me make it clear that Molten and its servers are property of the staff. It's not you or the community who run this server, it's the staff that does. And that is Sapphire's opening line. The level of respect for the players is dreadful. We aren't going to do something just because some loud members of the community want it. If we want your input, it should be clear that we'll ask for it. That's what you actually said, Sapphire. That's what you actually told the community that pay your wages. You arrogant little cunt. We do not owe you explanations about our choices or development decisions. Well, thanks Sapphire, I'm sure everyone will love this answer. The community will really thank you for this one. Sapphire goes on to call people in this thread spoiled children, brats, loudmouths, selfish, and tells them to educate themselves before locking the thread so no one else can agree with the original post. It's time to wrap this video up now with my final thoughts. Hellscream is a really buggy server. Okay, when you look at it overall, it's not as bad as Pandaria, but that's like saying anal cancer isn't as bad as full-blown AIDS. It's pretty messed up here, and when you have a server that is run by people like Sapphire, who is a complete wanker, this doesn't make Molten an appealing option at all. Some Molten defenders might try to argue that this server has only just been released. And to this, I say the key word there is released. I purposely avoided even touching it while it was in public test realm status because I thought I'd give them the benefit of the doubt and wait until they are pushing a product that they deem as ready before I pass any judgment. This is the version that the Molten staff believe is good enough for public release. So if it's ready for the public, it's ready for review. If there is no actual raid content open yet, this is only the fault of Molten for releasing the sort of trash that is now heavily associated with them. Right, that's the review over and done with. This is probably the last video before Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good one. Merry Christmas all. Good night. Bye.